fellow watchers and enjoyers. Ash and Piggy here from Watching Walford to bring you yet another edition of Watching Walford. It's episode number 59, and today's episode is going to cover the biggest storylines and takeaways from week 7 of 2024, or the episodes from the 12th of February 2024 all the way to the 15th. Oh, I'm still in January mode, really. I'll be real with you. Like, I'm not still in 2023. I'm very firmly in 2024, but I'm still in January. Just before.
The problem I have with the year is January is the slowest month of the year. And then you get to February. February just does a sneak attack on you because you're thinking on the 1st, and then you're on the 28th, and you're like. And then March is like, it's St. Patrick's Day. And I'm like, oh. And then as soon as you know it, you'll be singing, here comes Santa Claus, coming down the chimney.
The main adjustment, the fucking chimney. The main adjustment I've had is it's no longer blisteringly cold at night. And I've gotten used to, like, you know, at night I'll open the windows or get all cold so I can get in bed and fucking blanket up. But because it's not been stupidly cold, I'm like, it's too warm. Too warm for this. It's taking the piss.
I do hate when you get to the summer months and you're like in a sauna, and you're literally like a fucking starfished out like that, fucking arms and legs up in the air.
I hate it when in summer you become Sonia Fowler.
Hello, I'm Sonia Fowler. That's I don't even know what that
That's
point
Mickey
is.
Mouse, mate. That's Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, who's in the public domain, so we can legally make fun of him. He's in the public domain. We can make fun of him. Walt Disney, you can't sue us.
But yeah, the storylines that we're going to talk about today, and honestly, it's mostly the big two because it was primarily dominated by the George Knight stuff and also Johnny's return. So those are the big two storylines. But there'll be a little tiny segment about Denise as she continues to spiral. But then it'll mostly just be about Johnny's return, and what he gets told by Linda at the end of the week. And obviously the revelation that, yes, Eddie Knight is a massive racist. All two of you defending Eddie Knight in that video where I said he was a massive racist, which I didn't think was clickbait. And then I actually looked at it and went, you know what? Fair enough. People were probably going to get a bit out. It was a bit of a polarizing title. It was a bit much, like. But there we are. I suppose, as always, just to keep the flow of the podcast is, or at least this iteration of the podcast, it is half an hour of us shooting the shit, talking about the channel, talking about us, talking about what we've been up to, and then after the half an hour mark, we talk about the EastEnders. So, if you want to hear us recount the EastEnders, go to the 30-minute mark, and we should be on it. So there we are. How you doing, mate? How's your week been?
I'm doing good. I'm going to give like a 5-second, maybe minute, 2 minute review of The Iron Claw. It was a great film. The fucking ending is depressing as shit. Because it's just like, because obviously 3 of the Fod Erics, one of them's not mentioned in the film because it'd be too much tragedy, basically shoot themselves. And basically one of the Von Erichs becomes very depressed because he wants to be a musician, but his dad's like, you can be an athlete. You know, you can be an athlete. I suppose
just for context, the Von Erichs is a famous like wrestling family who like kind of like Southern America type. Texas. Yeah. Like they were a very famous wrestling family. And with most wrestlers there's usually pretty heavy fucking not really the most sound geezers, you know. Usually have their demons.
And basically, the end. I'm just going to say, like, there's a scene near the end where there's obviously because Kerry famously bought a gun for his dad. I forget what his dad's name is, and he gives the gun to his dad. So obviously, Kerry doesn't want to live anymore. I don't know if this is actually fact or fiction. He doesn't want to live anymore, and he's like, the curse is getting to me. Kevin, I think it's Kevin, and he basically grabs the gun and shoots himself. So you have this scene then where he's on a boat with and the Von Erichs who died are like, come on, Kerry, come on, join us. And I'm like, oh no. I brought it up in the previous podcast.
I mean, yeah, it's like the other podcast where the other day I spent about 30 minutes crying over a video where it's essentially angled like, it's like, the first thing you see when you go to heaven, and then it's like a fucking dog just sprinting at you, and just, no. Similar, honestly, it was eerily similar.
Yeah. I do recommend the Iron Claw, but if you're expecting like a happy family friendly movie, no.
Yeah, it's like there are some one of the TV shows that I've always viewed as one of the really like depressing fucking ones. There's this like school like it's not a sitcom, it's kind of like a soap, I guess. It's similar context, called Waterloo Road, where obviously there's a new series coming out now that got rebooted a couple of years ago. Not quite the same, because when it was originally out, it was like fucking car crash TV. Because for every like 3 happy endings, you get like 20 bad ones. It was like, oh, happy, happy, happy. They're all dead. It's like, oh, fucking hell. And that's how I describe Waterloo Road, and apparently the Iron Claw. But otherwise, yeah, carry on. How you been?
Also seen Dune, which was great. I can't wait to see Dune 2. Famously told Ash that was in the cinema, and on Saturday night, I beat my car at the ferry back, and then across from us, so like a few seats down, there was obviously a couple. And like you go to a film to enjoy. You don't go there to hear people go, oh Jesus, look at the fucking tits on that one. You don't go there for gossip. But these two were just chatting. They were just chatting, and this one tried to get on a man's legs and tried to like they were like trying to get it on in the cinema. And my dad's awkwardly just sat there like, Jesus, don't look. And famous. And what happened is someone went out to complain, and they got kicked out.
He just has some of those like intrusive thoughts. Don't say spit on her. Don't say spit on her. Don't say spit on her. Spit on her face! Ah, fucking.
Knowing my dad, he probably would say that. He'd probably say something comedic like that. And then I was going to see Madam Web yesterday. I got anxious.
Yeah.
And then my dad just realised something but they're probably all there to see Bob Marley, let's be honest. Because I watched the review on Madam Web, but the Bob Marley film came out, the biopic of Bob Marley. It's also on Paramount Plus if you want to watch it. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Can't say I'm a big Marley fan personally.
And we were going to see Man Web, but I got very anxious. But my dad again said they're probably all going to see Bob Marley. Then I watched the review on Man Web to go, maybe, because sometimes you look at a review and go, okay, if I like the review, I might check the film.
I mean, I'd say that even at this current point in time, usually the reviews are like, the fucking worst film I've seen in my life. It's like, right, yeah, sure, it's fucking shit if you've watched every single superhero movie since 2014, you twisted bastard. Give yourself a break. Maybe don't fucking huff any superhero movie. Just, my brain! It's like, well, yeah, you did it to yourself. You done it to yourself again. Just ramming your head into a brick wall and being surprised that your nose is broken.
But famously, the people who did the Madam Web movie, do you know what other Marvel movie they did at? Now, this is only a Sony exclusive Marvel movie. Can you guess what they did? So, they're known for shit films.
Morbius, what the fuck that one is.
Yes, they also did Morbius.
Going with I was going to say Elijah Wood. Who's the other weird one? Elijah Wood's fine. Love Elijah Wood.
What do you mean? Who's the other weird one?
There's the guy he's the weird Jared. Is it Jared Leto? What was he in Morbius?
Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the Joker sequel's coming out this year.
Well, Lady Gaga's in it. But like, I swear he was in Morbius.
He was Morbius, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. There we are. My point stands. He's just a raw bloke, isn't he? Oh, I'm a method actor whilst playing the Joker on the Suicide Squad. Let's send used condoms and anal beads to the cast. I don't know, mate. How about being a fucking professional? You twisted twat.
Also, I do have a funny story about yesterday 'cause we went to the food court to get food in the shopping centre, and someone set off the fire alarm. So like, no one's rushing out the building. Everyone's just sitting there having their food, and like, you know, like all the workers behind all the like all the food, like all the food shops. Like they're all just sat there, like, oh, what do you want? What do you want to order, sir? Do you want a burger? Like, we're all just sitting there having burger, and on the speaker I hear, "Get out of this! Get out! There's a fire!" We're all just sitting there, just eating burgers. Everyone's just sitting there, not moving. And then like it just goes off, and the security guard went, "Lads, it's fine. You didn't have to move." Like about 3 people got up and left, and my dad's just there, scoffing down the chips, and I'm like, "It'd be fine. Be fine." I said, "Yes, son, there's nothing to worry about." Because if there was an actual fire, the security guard, I'd assume, would come over and just go, "Everyone get the fuck out."
Yeah.
But no one did anything. We were all just sat there. I got like a triple Whopper. I always go for a triple Whopper when I go to Burger King. It's basically 3 Whoppers in one.
You don't need to explain what a triple Whopper is.
And yeah, it's just
everybody
funny.
Everybody knows what a triple is. Everybody knows what a Whopper is.
But it was funny because the fire alarm's just going off and no one's moving. Like, no one is absolutely moving. I'm like, if this is an actual fire, we're all fucked. Because no one's moving. No one is. There's just a child going around on a scooter. All the children are playing on the arcade machines that are beside it. Like, no one's doing fucking anything. Someone's on the Peppa Pig machine, like.
It just buckles me how your brain decides that the things you need to explain are the most simple things, but the things that actually need a bit of context to be set up, fuck it, don't need it. Fucking hell. Yeah, no, I mean, similarly, there was my mate's girlfriend, like, works as a receptionist at a school, and obviously in the reception they have a panic button. Well, she's a bit clumsy, like. fucking need that bitch. Panic button goes off. All right, everybody go home. The panic button's been fucking called. But what they didn't realise is, obviously, since they've not had to use the panic button didn't fucking work properly. So they had to fucking send everybody home and get it sorted the day after.
So they got like an extra day off school.
So yeah, they got it. Like, the kids got an extra day off school, but she, like, my mate's girlfriend didn't. She was like, had to do something else that day. Didn't even get the day off.
What a shame.
Yeah,
I don't believe my school had a panic button. We just had fire alarms, and
some would say that is also a panic button. Nothing scarier than a fire.
But
in fact, most alarms are supposed to be a bit of a panic button.
But my one problem with the fire alarm is, right, like, because I obviously lived close to the school,
Yeah.
the secondary school, before I got thrown out of the house. So, like, if a fire actually broke out, I'd just be like, I'm not going to the fucking football or the basketball court. I'm going fucking home now. Get a cup of tea. But they're like, no, you have to stay because then we know you're here and safe. And I'm like, I could just go home and just phone in. It could be fine. I'd just be fine. I'd just be chilling while the school's burning. And my dad always jokes, which I know it's not funny, but I only find it funny because, like,
there we
he's
go.
like, you know your granddad. You're just sad that he didn't set the school on fire when he went up in flames, so you didn't get a day off school. And I went, thanks. I always think about that. He wasn't thinking for me. He was thinking for himself. How could he? He got to set the school on fire.
I just laugh at some point. I've heard the jokes enough that I feel like I'm supposed to laugh at this point, but I feel like I get hit with them every 3 days, and I'm just like, it's not funny anymore. It's just, but you know, I'm not gonna stop you making them. That's what friendship is.
Anyways,
Anyways,
how have you?
yeah,
how have you
I was
been?
gonna say you've had your fucking 15 minutes. Where's my time?
You don't get it.
Oh, but it's been a week. It's been a week. It's not been too bad. It's just it's been busy, and it's kind of, I've gone through like two very different stages where obviously January was like, yeah, let's fucking go, gotta fucking do everything, gotta nail everything, gotta upgrade, gotta level up everything. And then kind of February's kind of been very, very lethargic. Oh, I don't want to fucking do anything. Like I'm gotten back to that position where I'm procrastinating doing things that I actually want to do. Like, everybody does it. Like, oh, yeah, I want to watch this fucking TV show. And then, like, 3 days go by, and what have you actually done? Not fucking much. You've just been moseying on about. And that's generally how this week's been, where I'm fucking knackered. But I usually like to do some extra shit on the side. You know, I like to stream on my Twitch channel. I'll usually like to, I don't know, have another project ticking on. I've had just about enough energy to get through what we've needed to do. And that's it. And it's a fucking weird feeling. Because last month I would have looked at me like, you're fucking slacking, you. You're fucking slacking, you loser. I'm like, oh.
It's motivation is hard to get. Like I just when you went, look, mate, I don't have the motivation. Do you wanna pray? No, I'm fine. I'm like, just looking out for you, mate. Just looking out for you. I know we're only back 2 weeks, but you need that break.
I don't
let me know.
Like it was just simple. It's like you also want to talk about. I'm just like, nah. It's not that much deeper than this. I'm just tired. That's it.
I'm hurt. I'm old, and I'm fucking tired.
Like, you know, it usually is never some big like great fucking like crisis. It's usually me just like, I'm tired. You want to talk about it? Nah, I'll be right. I don't want to take up your time for something that I'm probably not gonna feel in a day. I
also started reading a Spider-Man comic, Spider-Man Unlimited, and I also bought this. I don't know why I bought it. The title just made me giggle. It's Daredevil versus Adolf Hitler from like the 1940s, and I just read it, and he just beats up Hitler, and I'm like, right. Oh, fair enough. I was expecting it to be like funny, but no, it's just 1940s humor, and I'm like, it's not fun. I wanted a graphic like beat up of Hitler. I would have the fucking spin kick his jaw out, like something like that. No, he just lightly punches him.
Spin kick the mustache off his face.
Fucking Malachi Black kick him. Just fucking, you know what I'm on about.
Yeah.
But yeah, Spider-Man Unlimited is basically a universe where May Parker dies, but Uncle Ben Parker lives, and basically Spider-Man does not become Spider-Man because Tony Stark got rid of the spider that would, inject him to become Spider-Man. So the whole universe, and Matt Murdock is also just a priest. He's not actually Daredevil now.
Fucking.
But that's a big change.
You've had 3 minutes. I'm talking about Spider-Man now. It's my week. I'm talking about my week.
No, you can continue. I don't know.
I mean, I say that I'm really kind of, like I said, I'm running on fumes pretty much. But yeah, I got this new fucking jumper. It's a long sleeve. I'm particularly lacking on long sleeves. Although, I'm stocked up on jumpers. Jumpers I'm fine with. I don't need any more like the fucking granddad jumpers. I'm fucking stocked up for life. You know? Got some more comfy clothes. One thing I was wild to meet, there was a period of time where I would just chill in jeans. It was before I found the comfort of joggers. Before I found the fucking comfort. I was just chilling in jeans all day. What sort of twisted, demented human being was I?
I just have a question. Are you going to do the 2000s look and put a t-shirt over the long sleeve?
No.
Ah, damn it! I was expecting.
Is it really a 2000s look?
I mean, I've
seen it more frequently now than I used to. It's like with people wearing like t-shirts and having a dress on top, and I'm like, this feels counterintuitive. But then, you know what? If I had a cool dress, I'd probably want to wear it, even if it was cold as shit.
Get a little tutu, you know.
You know,
What else did you get?
I
Want to show
got
people your?
I got a fantastic little fucking cat mug, which is the most adorable fucking thing known to man. Like, I don't know. I'm not saying I'm getting. Look, we go around charity shopping. You know, me, my mum, and my brother. We all just go around, have a look, have a mosey about. And honestly, the thing I bought most is fucking mugs, because they are just, I don't know, just use them regularly. I feel like it's I feel like it's I don't know. It feels like a distinctly British thing to do, because I don't know, drink a lot more tea than most other places. I need more mugs. Not enough tea.
I read a comment section where people were like, "So how do I make tea? Because I make it with cold water." And then someone's like, "You boil it on the stove." So it's just this comment going, "You boil it on the stove. You do it like that." And then some guy just goes, "Oh, twat! You ever heard of a kettle?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he's correct. Have you ever heard of a kettle? Like, who boils it on a stove? Just buy a fucking kettle." I don't know if kettles come in 2-prong plugs. That's my problem. Or are they just exclusively 3-prong? So yeah, how do you make your tea, on the stove or in a kettle?
In the with a fucking kettle. So I'm not a mad bastard. I feel like every household has one of those like kettles that like sizzle or like fucking shriek when it gets boiling. Like the fucking, I don't know. It just screams at you. Obviously not like you know, that would be fucking terrifying. Just imagine what the fuck's it? Are you alright? It's kettle. Oh fucking hell.
And then like it screams and then when it boils, it goes, "Oh, I'm done."
Oh, it's just like that guy at the urinal, like leaning in, just whoo. It's fucking, it's just sweating. Imagine how horrifying it would be if inanimate objects had voices. This is a fucking.
So what are we talking here? Are we talking sex toys, normal toys?
Why'd you go straight to sex toys? I'm talking about I said inanimate objects, just anything, any normal object.
So, for instance, it could be this.
Wait, what the fuck? Copy of my fucking mug, you little rat.
This is a money bank.
Yeah, well, look.
Also, look at this. Comes with a tail. Look.
I tend to not think about furries. Yeah, but yeah, just any random object just had a voice. Yeah, but Kevin already has a voice, right? You've heard the adverts. I feel like imagine if your bed had a voice, or this chair had a fucking voice, just like, oh fucking hell.
I know my bed would say, "Get off me, you fat piece of shit."
I don't think humans could handle it. I think we'd all go mental within a. Well, I mean, obviously, if it was always established that things had voices, it wouldn't be weird. But if all of a sudden things just started talking out of nowhere, I feel like we'd be approximately 3 steps closer to Harry Potter land.
May if fucking my wrestler started talking to me, I'd be fucking scared.
I feel like I'd be having a paranoid breakdown.
Yeah, I'd just be sitting asleep in the middle of the night, and then this fucker starts talking to me. I didn't do it, and I'd be like, "Oh shit, oh no!" And then I get one of these fuckers talking to me. I'd be like, "Oh Jesus."
Yeah, I was going to say you with your figures would be mental. But yeah, I'm just glad I don't have any things that would stay. I mean, the one thing that would buckle me is, imagine if this bastard just started like serenading me,
slapping his belly,
and slapping his belly for bait. Just starts just like, let's get down to business. Yeah, he just, yeah, I'll make a man out of you. It's fucking just start. It's like in the fucking. Oh bollocks! I forgot the name of the show. What's the
Pee-wee Herman.
what's the thing with fucking Homelander? The show name?
The Boys.
Yeah, in The Boys, where the Deep's Gills sing "You're Beautiful" to him when he's having a bit of a crisis. Classic fucking hell of a time. I don't know why that's where my head's at. I think that questions a barometer as to how look, this weekend's gonna be good. I've needed this weekend.
Like, you know what would be weirder? What happens like if your microphone has a voice? How would that even work?
Mate, I'd start harmonizing with it.
Hello.
Yeah, but you have to treat all the objects nicely. Like imagine like prime time with a Wii. Your lamp's got to be fucking in fear. No, don't smack me again. No, I'm sorry, Mr. Lamp. I don't mean to. It's just I like to fucking fling my arm around whilst playing the Wii.
Or imagine you're playing Kinect Sport using the Xbox fucking sensor bar. You end up booting the TV when you're supposed to kick a ball.
Mate, honestly, mate, if there's one thing the motion controls were fucking hilarious for, it was the people accidentally getting fucking smacked. And it was mostly it was mostly in the Kinect one because you had to do the thing where you had to like fucking like swish backwards. And usually in these setups, a toddler, like a kid, just runs on by, whoosh, like no, I'm sorry. Why'd you run into my fucking hand? Oh God.
Do you ever have a Kinect?
No, too poor.
I don't. I see the reason for motion controls, but I'm like it didn't overstay its welcome, thankfully.
Yeah, but I'd say, motion controls had it, like, it's a reason why motion controls were stupidly popular, because, the more people are willing to play it without having to fucking figure out controls.
Like, do you know what I always wanted?
Like, even my fucking granddad played with a Wii, and he was, he had issues. I don't know why that's why I say it.
You know what I always wanted, because my dad used to bring it up.
I say that he was immobile as shit. Like, it's.
I always wanted a wrestling game.
Yeah.
So you just start doing the fucking moves, just
but those things are never as fun as they're supposed to be, because it's like, oh, I got him. All right, put fucking choke slam. Go away. Ooh. Like it's never as fun. It's never as fun as you want it to be.
But like the one thing I always wanted is like Prime TNA with all the fucking X Division lads. So you have to do like a Canadian Destroyer, a fucking spiral tap, like moves you cannot do unless you're a professional wrestler. Like, imagine just on top of your couch. And you're like, okay, I have to do a spiral tap. Oh fuck me spine. Oh fuck. Oh no. Gran, get the Band-Aid kit. Oh fuck.
When you think of it, it really is just the way to start to just delve into Fight Club. Well, he's been beating the shit up out of himself in the living room. He says he's playing wrestling games, but I don't really think that's true. And then you go, yeah, but the couch starts yelling at me, and I'm like, okay, yep, yeah, there we are. Yeah, he's gone. His box is gone.
I just can't wait till Fight Club comes back into theaters in March, because I want to go see it in the cinema. Because I love Fight Club.
I haven't fucking watched it in a long time.
It's a good film.
It is, but
yeah,
I'm like a little lazy sponge. I've got a bunch of knowledge, but I'm good at absorbing water, but do I actually do any scrubbing? Not really. Very weird analogy, but
but like imagine fucking fighting yourself, and like it's just like Granddad who's fought in the war, and he's just suddenly talking about like the enemies he shot down, and he's there reenacting. you're just there fucking like, just fucking wrestling, boxing yourself.
I mean,
Oh no, he's fighting back.
I don't know. It's always those times where you actually catch yourself in the fucking head with your knee, accidentally smack yourself in the face, you punch yourself in the eye. All right, all I'm saying is, in the Fight Club reality of me, I'm fighting dirty, right? Straight to the dick shots. I gotta win. All right, I gotta win. I'm not gonna let this fucker take me down. Fucking. It's looking in the mirror. Who are you talking to? Oh, God. Why?
Who's your man?
Why?
Who's your man?
But there we are.
That camera clutching him. Just break it back, make it humble.
That is the half an hour of the podcast. A good little view into our brains. Hell of a time. Half the time talking about actual stuff. Rest of the time, nothing. Not even worth it. Maybe people will get some enjoyment, but then again, what we do know about the content is people usually just hear what they want to hear and respond to the question anyways. Doesn't matter what we say. Usually.
Mate, I woke up today, right? At the time of recording this is Thursday. And I went, I'll just check some comment section. Check some of the comment section before we get into this. And I went, oh yeah, people are liking the video. And then I just seen this guy, Leo Burton. I'm like, my son's come home. He's come home from the war. I'm so proud of you, son. Like, he's
back.
He's just fought in Iraq. Like, he's just, I'm home, son. I'm home, father. And I'm like,
and then and then the comment was actually just correcting something that I'm pretty sure we corrected in the video already.
Yeah, he did. He basically did. But I was like, welcome back, son. Welcome back. Yeah, he did correct us. He corrected us on something, and then I was just like, I'm not going to respond. But it's nice to see him back.
Yeah. So there we are. So if you want any content updates, not much different, much the same. Everything coming out as usual. Whodunit is back and full swing. Hope people have enjoyed it. But yes, let's talk about the EastEnders. This week, as said before, was dominated by the George Knight stuff and the Johnny Carter return. But before we get into that, let's tickle the balls, as you will. Let's talk briefly about the Denise stuff. Because the most vague fucking terms whatsoever. So you've heard about that George Knight thing and the Johnny stuff. So let's talk about that, Denise. Denise is obviously still struggling, and Ricky and Amy show her this bracelet, and it's like it's the joke that you love of the what you see versus what she sees or whatever. Where what Denise sees is obviously the necklace dripping in blood, and she's fucking freaking out. But then Amy and Ricky are just like, the fuck? Bracelet. It's just a bracelet. And it's with a lot of like Denise, like, you show me what the fuck you're hiding behind your back, you little bastard. It's like, what the fuck, Denise? Are you okay? No, the answer's no. And like, obviously they're just like, what the fuck is going on? You know, like, what's happened? Oh, we need to tell Jack. Jack won't handle it. Be fine. And it continues as in the salon. Denise has a disaster customer, and she just screams at the customer. And she gave her a bad haircut, took too much off the side, and then Denise is like, "Oh, well, you said you wanted this off, so shut your fucking mouth." Just rattling off all this abuse towards everyone.
I think in that situation, especially if you don't go hard, Denise, because you know, I'm just saying, right? I don't know how you choose it, but I want a vision, right, where she's cutting. So essentially, she's cutting someone's hair, right? So she's cutting someone's hair. So we see it's a woman, but from Denise's perspective, it's Keanu. So she's like, what? Do I look ugly? Ah, fuck! Get away from me! Get away from me!
And then in the meantime, she's like frantically snipped off like half the fucking hair. So, no. Oh God! What have you done?
Her hair looks like this, like just fucking like that.
Yeah.
I would love it. I need more Keanu, like what Denise sees versus what we see. Because I love that in wrestling and in EastEnders. It's like, oh, it's just a random guy. Oh no, it's Keanu.
And this kind of continues as Amy has kind of taken it on herself to try and figure out what's actually happening with Denise. Just like Johnny has made it his goal to figure out what's happening with Linda. And she starts to like ask Stacey, like, yeah, you know, how'd you know if someone's struggling with the symptoms of bipolar disorder? Anyone I know? It's just a school project. Never me. And I suppose also, fucking, and Denise for the first time in weeks is like feeling somewhat okay. It's, Jack, do we want to go out for dinner or something? I don't pick the days I work, D. And then he just goes straight to Stacey like, you free tonight? You free? And buys a similar fucking bracelet as the one he got Denise. Like, he probably was in the same store. Oh yeah, get 2 of them, please. Don't make them look the same. And fucking. So the affair continues. I don't know why I made the noise. So the affair continues, and Jack's being a terrible husband, and Denise is still fucking struggling.
There's another scene I want, but I don't know if it's too raunchy for PG. But I want. Right, I don't know if you can shoot it like this, but I want basically Jack and Denise. They're having some sexy time, and Jack's like, "Who's the man? Who's the man?" And Denise is just looking behind, and it's like, Keanu. I don't know why. I just want that fucking. Who's the man? Keanu, get away from me, please.
Yeah, that is that's in the little jumble sale. Definitely
won't happen.
Not happening.
But I do want scenes fucking where Keanu just appears out of nowhere.
But yeah, it sucks to see, but ultimately, it's the 6 are all going to struggle in their own different ways. Like, it's a surprise that Denise is so heavily affected by this, and it's an interesting angle for the character, but it's kind of funny. Like, obviously, I've mentioned it a bit. Oh, jeez, fucking drop something.
You mentioned it before, lads.
I mentioned it fairly extensively at this point. Obviously, one of my brothers started watching it at Christmas. EastEnders, that is. But we were just kind of laughing at the timing, because obviously we'd watched like Christmases before and that. And because he's only watched the Christmases and this bit, he's only ever seen Linda be a fucking prick and Denise be a piece of, and Denise just struggle. So like he's managed to miss the whole year of Linda being like brought back to be a really interesting character. Like, missed all of that, and has missed this previous year, which in my brain has cemented Denise as like a fucking not quite iconic, not quite that tier, but
you have to say it correctly, Ash.
High tier. Iconic.
Iconic.
And it's kind of funny the timelines really, because obviously previously in 21, Linda's just a drunk, just berating everyone. 22, and yeah, it's just kind of just a funny timing. But it'll be interesting where it goes. There's been teased that there's been promo shots for the pasta, so it's the he seems like he might actually have a proper storyline coming up, which people have been teasing. And I think everybody just kind of laughed because it's like, fuck me, they've really not done a good job at making these men of religion seem good. Because the second he gets some promo images, people are just like, oh Jesus, oh no, what crime is he gonna commit? Oh no, I've just closed the notes. But yeah, it's interesting to say the least. Let's talk about Johnny. And Johnny's return and who he's gonna fucking destroy. Immediate thoughts, because people have asked us a little bit about immediate, Johnny.
I was just going to say that to you. Yeah, do you want to do our thoughts on the recast first?
Yeah, go ahead.
And then get into storylines. My immediate thought on the recast is I love it. He's a bit of a dick, but he likes dicks, so it's acceptable. His way out to go with the bad. Suck a dick is a dick. Equals. That's how I view it. That's how I view it. So
Would be saying that if he was straight.
Eats a pussy, is a pussy. I don't know where I'm going with that. But yeah,
double standards.
But it's so weird because he has to sack Menace, if that makes sense. Because when Sack is I think it's Sack. I think that's who I'm talking about. The Whitney's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know when Sack acts, he goes, I fucking hate you, Whitney. And then he's like, you're not that. It's just, that's how I feel with Johnny, because he's like, oh, fuck you, Anna. And he's just like, hello. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
He does have a bit of an overactive face.
Yes, right, there's a scene I love. Where he confronts Dean Wicks. Dean just calls him a little sausage, and I'm like, yeah, go on, Dean. I know you're supposed to be rooting for Johnny, but I'm just like, yeah, Dean, fuck him up, Dean.
But yeah, just as a roundabout way, do you actually like him or not?
I do. Okay. I don't. The problem is I've only seen the first Johnny Carter from doing 2014 and the third. I think it's the third.
Didn't miss the second one too much. I'll be real with you.
So the third one's he's improving on me. If I could pick anyone, I'd bring back the first one, just because it'd be funny.
No, I love him. I love this new Johnny Carter. I like how he's obviously grown up. He's become a lot more serious. He's a lot less pathetic. Which is how I describe the other Johnny Carters. He's a lot more sure of himself. He's a lot less kind of baby gay, I guess. I guess is the word I'll use. He's had the funny bits. He's had when he was doing the 5, 6, 7, 8 rodeo. Yeah, go on, Johnny. You're a bit of the hammed up campiness. I love it. I like the more stern, serious side. I really like him. He's quickly become a favorite character, and that's coming from me. And I barely have any favorite characters anymore. I've just he does have a very big face, and he does have a lot of he does go through a lot of the emotions, but I really like the Johnny recast, and
I do like it as well.
It's safe to say that honestly, he's probably, if he has any more to do next week, he's probably already done more than all of the previous Johnnies had storyline wise before now. I was a bit worried at the start. I was a bit worried that he was going to kind of go towards the Ben Mitchell type, where, you know, he's a bit more like hardened. He's no longer as kind of like happy. He's been fucked around a lot. I was worried he was going to be you know, I'm a bit of a criminal now. Like, fuck it, I'll take the law into my own hands. But he's shown the good and the bad, and I think it's been really fun.
It'll be interesting to see what he does. Like, because obviously there is rumours that he's going to be involved in getting rid of Dean Wicks, either by stuffing him in a suitcase or just making him walk away. Even though, knowing Dean Wicks, it's not going to be walking away. It's going to be walking in a suitcase. Let's be honest. Dean is how can we describe it? He's a fighter. He fights for. He's a very fighting man.
World. I said he's not long for this world.
No, even though I do want to see him around a lot more, because people who know me, I love the fact that like he does anything, everyone's. He does literally. He walks in dog shit, and they go, "Oh, Dean," and he's like, "What? I did nothing." Fuck you, Dean. What am I doing, lads? Stop it. I understand it doesn't. I understand people might go, "Oh, you're defending a rapist in the show." I'm not. I'm laughing at the fact he just does anything, and they're like, "Oh, fuck's sake, Dean." Lads, I literally just took a shit in the toilet. What? I did nothing. Yeah. I did absolutely nothing. But I
suppose just as a whole, we both like the recast. I think they've done a good job. Like the actor does a good job. Because Johnny is a fairly complex character, and you now have more like layers and more reasons to be interested in the character. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see because it's his entrance. You know, it's his entrance again. So who knows if he'll actually get anything else other than this introduction? Because there's always a chance he doesn't. But he's pretty, as we'll get to see, he's been made a pretty important character. So fingers crossed, should be fine. But let's get through some of the stories. Johnny finds his mum in the gutter and is fucking livid at everyone that they've allowed Linda to get into this position, just being a drunk again. And he figures out, as you would, the only reason why she'd be so upset like this, it's Dean, right? So obviously it has to be Dean. There's no other reason to imagine. And like, he gets angry initially, and then later on he has a couple of drinks with Ben and Callum, fucking walks up, gives Dean a good fucking punch, knocks his fucking chips to the ground. There's poor food.
Do you know what I did in that scene? Do you know when he punched him to the ground? I didn't go, no, Dean, fuck you, Johnny, you bollocks. You spilled the chips. How could you? I hate you now, Johnny. I hate you. How could you?
Spoken like a true fat person. That chips? Curry sauce? Ah! Let me smell your breath. But gives him a smack.
Could you imagine he punched him, but he still just started eating the chips? He just boom,
smash, pick him up, and takes him back again.
Do something with your life, you little bitch.
But obviously he doesn't realize. Like, punches Dean. Dean's kind of like he kind of like, fair play. You've fucking grown up. And yeah, there's no reason to suggest that Dean isn't the reason that Linda's struggling, but little does he know, there's a little bit more bubbling below the surface. Dean is the iceberg above surface. We don't see what's underground. He snaps at both Ben and Callum when kind of, because obviously Callum was pretty much a part of the Carters. He spent a lot of time with the family, and he mentions like, oh, Johnny, you never respond in the Carter WhatsApp group, and Johnny's like, why are you even in there? You're not even a Carter anyways. And he's like, Johnny, I was there for years, mate. Come on. And then even Mick gets mentioned. He kind of snaps at Ben as well, just like, hey, look, right? Fuck. But then he realizes, so like, yeah, I guess, you know what? I wasn't here. I can't really be too upset, It's a lot harder being confronted with it. So like, nice, He's not just one note. Don't talk about my dad.
And he thought he got paid, obviously, for that mention.
But he gets furious learning that Gina was with Dean and is furious that she's getting to know Jade. And when Linda, on Gina's birthday, drunk as fuck, drops Gina's cake in the Vic, he kind of lashes out and says, why the fuck are you all letting Dean out here anyways? He should be locked up. You shouldn't just let him live here. And yells at everyone. Which, like I said, older Johnny wouldn't have fucking done that. He would have just cried.
Okay.
And later on in the episode, Ben and Callum agree. Look, we'll help you get rid of Dean. Then obviously Ben's like, and then Callum's like, legally we'll get rid of Dean.
What's on the shotgun? It's like, oh, why, hubby? Why?
And he figures out, all right, here's how we're going to get rid of Dean. And he makes up with Gina to get a favour from her. And he needs Gina to get Dean's phone so he can delete the recording and hopefully put it all to bed. And, Gina agrees because fuck Dean, essentially. That is the attitude. She, kind of tricks him, like, oh, yeah, let's go for a drink, steals his phone. Johnny deletes the recording. But when he, sees this it's all happening in the cafe, it ends up with a plate being smashed, and Linda's there as well, and she just fucking seeing the glass on the floor, she goes to pick it up, but it starts bleeding, and then just starts fucking banshee screaming, just wailing, and trying to frantically clean the floor, as that's where fucking Keanu's buried. Probably got some fucking flashbacks to Christmas where she had to clean up the pool of blood. And this is everybody's kind of like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And Johnny starts trying to confront her, like, look, why did you react like that? I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. And, after a couple of drinks, Linda finally kind of goes through, like, look, I didn't want to hurt him. I didn't want to do it, but he had his hands around he had his hands around her neck, and he was going to kill her. And then fucking, February 15th, the first person who isn't a part of the Six to know about Keanu's death it's Johnny Carter. Linda actually admits to killing Keanu. The 6 becomes 7. And the cover-up is fucking continued.
Oh,
and
fuck, I hope this doesn't become like the fucking NWO, where we get 60
the 33.
Fuck off,
and
mate.
obviously, we don't know how Johnny fucking reacts. We know that we can assume how Johnny would react. We can guess that, Johnny would just do everything to protect his mum. But we don't actually know because it fucking cut off at that point. But yeah, holy shit. I wasn't expecting... That's how, sure, the aftermath of the 6 may have not been as much fun, because it's never going to be as big as the 6 till the next big plot point. So we are now having the aftermath. Pretty big deal. I was watching it in bed. I was woke up, you know, fucking EastEnders, and I was just like, holy fuck! Like, Johnny is the first person to learn, like the first person not in the six to know, and that's why I'm not too worried for the Johnny Carter character, because he's been brought in as a part of Linda, who pretty much one of the main characters of 2023. You know, let's be real. Her and Sharon pretty much were the two main people. And yeah, it's fucking. What did you think when she actually told Johnny?
See, I can see a lot of fans being upset about this. Going, why is Johnny the first to know? But let's be honest. If you have a son, daughter, they, them, whatever, iguana, fucking, a pet or something, you'd want to tell them like your darkest secret. It depends on the parent, like. But if you're drunk, you might let something slip, and that's what Linda did. Linda told her little sausage what she thinks, like what she did. But she doesn't mention any names, which I don't mind. But I do feel like this is going to keep building.
I mean,
And again, I just have the worst. What?
She does say.
No, I mean, she didn't mention any of the six.
Oh, okay. Yeah. She didn't implicate anyone else. Yeah.
Yeah, I just worry that it's going to become like a fucking WCW faction where we're going to slowly get 60 members in this. Oh, it was the 6. Now it's the 106.
I still believe that the cover-up will obviously have more and more people like Evil know at some point, and Nish will find out. But, like, it's everything's put on boil, right? And I think it's pretty fucking cool, honestly. It was a cool reveal. I'm happy so Linda can. She's not going to recover because she's still racked with a guilt. But like, maybe it'll become a little bit easier now that Johnny knows. And I feel like Johnny will do anything to protect Linda at this point.
Do you reckon he'll join in the meetings? He'll just be a sidekick in the meetings, like Batman and Robin. Like Linda has a bike and he's in the little sides. Like that's how I imagine. Just fucking Johnny with a little head, like he's in the fucking classic Robin suit, like the red and yellow spandex with the little shit shoes. And just like him in the meet. Like Linda's like, oh lads, I have a friend. Johnny's just like, hello. I also. How do you do? I don't know why, but it just makes me giddy. Just him just joining in.
Anything else on the Johnny stuff?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I was like, EastEnders, you edged me. How could you? Why did you edge me? But I'm looking forward to hopefully next week where it continues, or they might just leave it there, and then on the 39th anniversary, they'll probably go, well, Johnny knows.
Yeah, and I suppose just to say, in case people are still here at this point, probably not. Probably not. We will be covering the 39th anniversary as we normally do in the big fancy weeks. Just reaction to Walford on Tap should be coming out as normal. But yeah, should we get into what was probably, honestly, one of my favourite bits of EastEnders since Christmas. That being the Eddie, Knight and George stuff. So, we have established that I don't need to say the title yet. Some people won't get angry yet. So, Monday's episode is George kind of confronting a bit of his past as he has to go back to his old estate to see his parents. As they've invited him over for this big party, And it's a party designed to butter George up so he's willing to give Eddie a character witness, as we later learn from one of his drunk mates that they want George to give a character witness to Eddie, as Eddie is being prosecuted over a racially aggravated murder charge. So, pretty self-explanatory. But
I'll
essentially, Mm?
I'll just say for Ash. Essentially, the old man's like, yeah, you need to testify for your dad because how can he do a racist attack if he has a black son? And that is literally what he says. I'm not paraphrasing.
I can say that as well. That's not a bad. That's
Yeah. But I don't want you to get cancelled. I want me to get cancelled.
How am I gonna get cancelled for saying
Someone might take it
exactly
out of
what was
context.
said? He does. Yeah, he just goes. He can't be racist. He's got a black son. It's like, I guess theoretically sounds true, but obviously this kind of fucking piques George. Like, great, because when he gets to the party, they've got the fucking boxing world championship belt on the wall. They get a hero's welcome. But just notice, everybody's white there. not a single person who's not white, other than George and his family. Like, and everybody has the shoes off except for Eddie, who, I don't know, you could probably read into that being a display of power. My house, my rules. Everybody follows my example.
I was just thinking, I was thinking on that, how can I be racist? I have a black son. I'm just imagining a lawyer showing up in court, like defending who he killed, and then just the judge looking at Eddie going, you have a black son, you can't be racist, you couldn't have done it, fucking, you're free. Like, if that logic worked, just fucking, oh wait, you have a gay son, you can't have done a gay attack.
Yeah,
you have
exactly.
A gay son.
It's like, and the whole part is about trying to get George to finally, just tricking George into thinking that he is loved by Eddie, which, as we'll get to, not nearly as bubbly as one would want to expect. And Tuesday's episode, George refuses to accept it. He refuses to acknowledge that Eddie is a racist. And, Gina, as someone who's probably been subjected to a good chunk of racism in her life, is like, look, how many people, how that party, it was all their mates. It was all white people. Look at the way they treated us. Look at the way they treated me. They treated you. Like, you can't just turn away from this. But George does. He does. He looks up the murder. There's a big report. It's I didn't take the name, but it's like Henry Assar or something like that. And what we see as viewers, we go, that's probably George's dad. Probably George's dad. But obviously George doesn't see it like that. But instead of George acknowledging this, he simply goes, fuck it. Let's make Gina's birthday important. But through the episode, he kind of realizes, look, Gina, I'm sorry for looking the other way. I will not allow it to happen in the future. I just it won't stand. And by the end of the episode, he reads the article over the Eddie Knight murdering of a man from Ghana, and he rings his parents and demands to talk. And this sets up for the Wednesday, the Valentine's Day episode, which is the special episode where we get to see it from three different perspectives. We have Elaine and Gloria, we have Anna and Gina, and we have Eddie and George. And there's going to be a lot of heavy notes going through. So you have anything to add, just fucking chime in.
Also, just want to say my dad is correct again.
Yeah.
We'll touch on it more later, but yeah.
So it starts off. George confronts Eddie over his crime, and Eddie pleads ignorance or innocence, rather. Kind of a bit of both, George, however, says, look, I remember that man as I was there, because it was just after he had done some boxing at the gym. He kind of goes outside and then he kind of hides because he sees a kind of group of men kind of try and like threaten the man who was killed. You know, he saw him cowering in the corner, and they were just beating the shit out of him. You know, just like an unprovoked, really unprompted attack. And Eddie acknowledges, like, yes, I did attack him, but it wasn't murder. But then tries to make it seem like George was complicit because, you know, if you were there, you know, why didn't you do anything? But then he also tries to say, like, oh, you know, he was a wrong un anyways, and just basically makes up a bunch of excuses, like, oh, you know, wrong un, womanizer, harassed.
He stole money, all that stuff.
Oh, you know, stuff that, you know.
Stuff that you would associate with a black stereotype from a racist perspective.
Yeah,
basically.
Exactly. Got a bit worried for a second there, but yeah, no, perfect.
So basically, from a racist perspective, each watermelon is like chicken, robs children, has guns, you know, all of that.
Maybe
from a racist perspective.
From a racist perspective, where everything else other than England is Africa. It's all the same. Oh, Jesus Christ.
You're from Jamaica. What? No.
That
was a good man.
But it kind of, and we cut in between, you know, we cut between Eddie and George and Gina and Anna and Gloria and Elaine. Now, I don't really entirely know, I don't understand the Gloria and Elaine stuff so much. I think if I had to kind of try analyze it, I guess it's more so they are kind of bystanders in this, where they try their best, but ultimately they still have to go off what the other person does, you know? Like, as much as Gloria may have been like, yeah, I love George, ultimately Eddie still made a lot of the decisions. And as much as Elaine does try to support George can only, like, George will only let her in so much. But I don't know, I think I missed a bit with the Gloria and Elaine stuff. But it's also kind of like the ticking time bomb as something's revealed later on, which will obviously affect the relationship. But yeah, Elaine wants the truth from Gloria, who tends to kind of be like, you know, why dig up the past? It's not worth it. You know? And Elaine just kind of goes, right, if it was an accident, how'd he get bundled up in a suitcase and, like, in the canal? How accidental is that? Huh?
Look, I understand, like, if he fell on the stairs, accident, you pushed him to an accident, like, because he's a slow coach. But how the fuck do you go, he just ended up in a suitcase, lad? He just fucking, in a suitcase. It's not like we all do it. We all do it, you know, we all murder someone, put them in a suitcase, and then proclaim innocence that we're racist but not murderer. We all do it. It's just like I guess it was Nugget's suitcase again.
Yeah, it's true that
poor Nugget, his suitcase got stolen twice.
Ranveer? Yeah.
Ranveer.
But yeah, it kind of fucking, it's a funny little detail. I guess I guess Elaine and Gloria are kind of there to kind of be like people who look on but choose to look the other way to see what they want to see, because, you know, that's how Elaine treats Linda, that's how Gloria treats Eddie. It's just about trying to look the other way to feel better about it rather than actually dealing with what happened. We even get to see that more. George says, yeah, I hid, just like how the victim hid as he was cowering in the corner. And George kind of goes through, like, I know you were enjoying it. And, you know, at this point, if it wasn't pre-Watershed, he probably would have just went, yeah, you know, just slurring as well. Because, you know, like, yeah, they just going through Like, you know, oh,
Well, like, you could even do the
this.
PG slur, like where he just goes, "He's a fucking
No.
cracker."
Nah.
Like, but
Yeah, but
you didn't.
you don't need it.
I was expecting some Eddie Night racist. Like, I was expecting to go, "Oh, I bet he went to KFC afterwards." Ha ha ha. Like, I was expecting some Eddie Night, 2018
Yeah,
edgelord
but they
racism.
were they were definitely they were building up to that one though. They weren't just gonna let it slip out here, because obviously it played a bigger role in some of the stuff later. And we then get Anna kind of realizing and then going like, "Oh fuck." Like, "Oh shit. Grandad is a racist and murdered a man because he was black." And this obviously affects Anna because, Anna is the baby of the family, right? She is the one who's typically protected the most, and Gina's lived a bit more of a harsher life because of what she, like, a lot of the adversities she's had to face. Typically the baby of the family usually gets some of the better treatment because, I mean, I was a fucking baby of the family, I'm fucking, all my siblings fucking looking out for me, making sure everything went fine. All the family, all that experience of raising kids, like, you get protected more. Eddie calls George ungrateful, and then details how, Gloria couldn't get pregnant and she found the advert for the baby farming, which he should never have accepted, You went...
Also, did you know? I don't know if it was transphobia, but did you notice he threw in a bit of fucking phobia in this, because he goes, "It's not like these days we can just inject hormones into yourself." I say, that's a line he said.
I wasn't a bit of transphobia. It was just a bit of...
I just want to say, I'm going with my agenda. I'm going with my agenda. He also does not like that.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real, he probably doesn't, but yeah, you were just fitting it with your fucking views.
But he
was
did
just
say
more
that,
so you can't. He did say it, but obviously how it was supposed to be interpreted was just, you can just get help. Back in the day, wasn't as much help of people getting pregnant.
Yeah, there was cocaine.
But Gloria details how much she loved George and how deeply she loved him and how much she tried to, like, stick her neck out for him and protect, even if she was terrified and even if it was worse back in those days. Ultimately, she took a lot of it on the chin. But then Eddie claims he took it on the chin and protected him. And then you have Anna and Gina, where they angle it as Gina's someone who's experienced and encountered a lot of racism, and you have Anna who, maybe hasn't, like, experienced as much racism. Which, they don't necessarily see it that way, but that's where that's where the conflict comes into it. And then George goes through a lot of the racism he was subjected to growing up, and how little Eddie did to defend it, Because Eddie says, "I protected you, I made sure you weren't super affected by this," but ultimately, he kind of details how little Eddie actually did, how all the comments that were made, like a lot of the similar comments to what Eddie said to Gina. A lot of that stuff was generally brought up, and Eddie never really did anything to fucking, like, "Oh, you shut your fucking mouth," He never put his neck out on the line for George. And Gloria mentions how, or at least this one may be a bit hazy. I may have just kind of embellished it a little bit, but I was saying how Gloria seemed to mention how she wanted to help George kind of embrace his heritage. Like, I'm pretty sure she said how she went to, like, the library to try, like, get some books to try show George more about, what his home would have been like and where he's from, his heritage. But then Eddie went, "Nah, he lives here now. He lives here." And then she even kind of goes like, "Yeah, but it did him good though, didn't it? Because he fit in and he did a good job of doing it." But that's a part of the problem, because George did a lot of this stuff George became a boxer because he wanted Eddie to be proud of him. And it was the only way he felt he could genuinely get through to his dad. But ultimately, it was never really enough. And then Gina kind of talks about how, like, look, Anna, you know, you dye your hair blonde, you I don't know, like, you do your, essentially just trying to get over the idea that Anna, you probably could be classed as white passing, and because of that, essentially, she kind of goes, I don't think you realize how much, like, how badly I've been treated. But it's kind of, it builds up this friction between Anna and Gina, because Anna responds, like, I'm just as black as you. Like, you know, we have the same fucking parents, you know? But because Gina sees Anna as trying to, I guess, in a sense, pick the fucking path of least resistance, in a way that Anna could appear as white passing, and to someone who views it in, like, in a pretty reductive way, like fucking Eddie, obviously, because of the differences, Anna gets treated better. Because to some people who would view it like this, Anna is white passing. And we even saw, like, even with the fucking subreddits, we'd seen people like, I feel like the casting's a bit weird here. It's like, guys,
It's see, I see it like, you know, like when we do, because again, just I know it's not related to this, but you know, it's Black History Month. It is Black History Month. Which is very fitting that this episode did happen in Black History Month. I see it a lot in wrestling when people do it, like all these like famous black wrestlers like Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Roman Reigns, and then people in the comments going, actually, that Roman Reigns is not really black. Have you looked at his skin color? I'm like, he's still a black. It doesn't matter what your skin color is. You're still black. It doesn't matter if you're light brown, dark brown, fucking big brown. Like, you're still black.
I mean, it's how a lot of as a kind of around. I don't want to describe it the exact way as you do, but it's simply, in a lot of settings, a lot of people's heritage is quite reductive, because, you know, there's always the joke, she's just straight white man, and then, like, you'll see this lobbied against someone who's fucking Serbian or something, you know, like, just because of your skin color doesn't necessarily, it doesn't take your fucking, like, your heritage into account, it doesn't take where you're from. You know, like, it's one of those things, it's thrown around, and it's even like you'll see it in some spaces where it's like, oh, I can't believe it's just full of white people, but, like, obviously what they're thinking is like, oh, it's just all English people, you know. But it never really takes into account the different backgrounds that that people are from.
Like, I'm sorry if my terms come across a bit rude, but there's another example I have. There's this black fella, he was doing a video in Ireland of, like, oh, look at the prices of petrol in the north compared to the south of Dublin. And a bunch of people were like, you're not from Ireland? And I'm like, you do know Irish people can be black. We're not all pale white. We're not in the fucking stereotype land, like, where we all eat mashed potatoes and shove chicken nuggets up our arse. Like, we like, you do know, right, like, we all do come in different colours like Lego. Like, we do. You can't deny it. Just because one guy is black does not mean he's not Irish. So what, he came from a different country?
Yeah, I suppose it's the whole thing.
Tie-dye curly. Who wouldn't want that?
It's a thing where it can be quite reductive to, you know, you take at face value, and obviously the face value here is Gina, obviously, so like, had been subject to a lot more seemingly more racism than Anna. Gina saw a lot of Anna's ways of coping with it as her looking the other way, which causes this big friction, because that's not how Anna sees it. And Anna feels pretty fucking betrayed because, you know, they thought they were together in this, you know? Like, And it's a really interesting point to do. And I really like how they did it because, it could have just been like, and we'll get into it more, but it could have just been like, oh, Eddie's or George's dad is a racist, but like it built more layers onto it, and it was just really fucking good. And I just, that's why we're spending so long talking about it, because there are so many little aspects that build up to just being a really fucking good, like, full picture. We may not be the most.
I smell some onions outside.
We may not be the most eloquent in addressing this. We may not be the most, I don't know, like, but
PC.
that's just you, mate. Yeah. But I at least hope we're not doing a disservice to this. I like to think we aren't. It's not like us just missing the fucking thing. It's like I'm pretty sure there's a famous director. I think it's
Sam
like
Raimi.
certain. It's I think it's Sofia Coppola, who obviously daughter of Francis Ford Coppola, who's fucking won Academy Awards. Pretty sure he did The Godfather. But she does these kind of more like artsy films. But where some of the issues come in is she only really seems to tackle the issues that she knows, whereas like a story that may have had like a just some like social issue that she's never faced, she's just gonna disregard it and do something else. Like my roundabout point is just being, we haven't just fucking not witnessed this, We're not just fucking like, oh, that was a really good episode. Don't know what happened, though.
There is one more example I have of I don't know if it's racist or just being rude, but someone I know was in another town, basically, in Kildare. And this guy, this guy who's not from here destroyed the bathroom, broke all the toilets in this Bucky's, and he left. But he's not one of us, because he's not from here. He's not one of us. And does he mean like that is like foreign, or does he mean he's not from this town? And someone just went, no, it means he's not from Ireland. And I'm like, oh. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the, I mean, it's even like, see, obviously this is a tangent. It's not the fucking same. It's not nearly on the same level as what we're discussing here. But like, even just sounding slightly different, you do get some people who are just like, oh, it was like, I was working in retail and someone's like, you don't sound like you're from here. And I'm like, well, I am, I've lived here all my life. He's like, yeah, well, your voice, you don't sound like you're from here. I'm like, I'm from here, mate. Like, fucking, what do you want from me? You want my fucking passport? Like, what the fuck? What do you get from this? But it's just the prejudices that people face. But yeah, the Anna and Gina stuff really interesting. But we'll continue. Where the fuck I'm actually at in these? As I said before, I took pretty extensive notes just to try and capture everything that was dictated here. I felt like it would have been a disservice to just be like, what happened? Well, I didn't take any notes because I was tired. Like, nah, this is fucking fantastic stuff. If you haven't watched it, watch it. Eddie explains how, in his eyes, he treated George well. But George explains, like, yeah, but the only thing that really did is he only did the boxing so Eddie would be proud of him and he would fit in. But then Gloria details how Eddie wanted a child of his own and they were going to send George back, but Gloria held her own and went, no fucking way, we're not sending George back. I'm not allowing it. George is ours and I love him and he's not getting taken out. And later, Anna does lash out at Gina because now it feels like because Anna feels like Gina doesn't take her struggles seriously. There are reasons why she like, dyes her hair blonde and kind of dresses and acts the way she does, because that's who she fucking is. That's who she wants to be. Says, well, oh, why'd you dye your hair blonde? His mum was blonde, like fucking. But she's now upset because it now feels like Gina never actually took her struggles seriously, because Gina seemingly feels her struggles were greater. They were worse, Anna, Anna feels that Gina never took her struggles seriously. The differences between the two means that because Anna is white passing, Gina's seemingly been subject to more racism as a whole. And that's simply not how it went. And that's not how it is. But obviously that'd be pretty, it'd be pretty fucking upsetting to be like something that you hold pretty fucking strong, that suddenly, oh, one of the closest people to me hasn't taken any of my stuff seriously because they feel like their side's worse. Siblings, fucking, that's a true bond, especially with the amount of fucking trauma they face together.
Wow, thanks. Mate, really making me feel inclusive here.
But ultimately, this is where Anna and Gina, this is where the depth comes in, Gina's been shown a lot of it, but Anna also being able to step up in this role and actually fucking prove that there's more to the character other than the, bubbly, stupid kind of exterior, Anna's not a fucking idiot. She has been through shit. She's not just fucking sunshine and rainbows the way through her fucking life. She's still faced adversity. But yeah, just really fucking interesting. That really love these bits. And here's where it ramps up fucking dramatically. Because George simply wanted to know that Eddie loved him. And when asked, Eddie this, his mouth starts to fucking quiver. He starts to try and form the words. And George goes to hold his hand. And it's a choice. It is a genuine choice of, does Eddie want to be better, or will he fall back on his prejudices? And Eddie yells at George in the most disgusted, visceral, just screams, "Get your filthy hands off of me." And it's like, fuck. Because it confirms it, It confirms that, yes, Eddie Knight is a massive racist. And yes, the motive for killing the man probably was racial, Probably fucking was. And with that happening, George obviously gets a bit fucking angry. Eddie gets scared, cowering in the fucking corner. But Gloria, makes her way down and says, look, alright, it was my fault. Because they wanted to take George back home. And she begged Eddie to do whatever it took. And let's be real, probably didn't take much convincing of Eddie to, yeah, do whatever it takes. Yeah, just rough him up. He's like, yeah, I'll fucking rough him up, alright? Fucking. So, that's not what was said, Eddie.
Yeah, Gloria's like, yeah, rough him up. Eddie's like, just pulls out a shotgun, like, kill him, you say? No, rough him up. Kill him, rough, kill, fucking... rough, kill. Just going back and forth.
Probably didn't need the most convincing. But hey, it says that Eddie, through Gloria's wishes, make sure that George's dad, and yes, it is George's dad, the man who was killed. George didn't put two and two together. I mean, fair enough. Obviously, we can do it with a fucking, bird's eye view, but obviously George isn't going to fucking see that. That the man who Eddie Knight killed was George's biological father, and he was trying to take George back to Ghana, seemingly. And that's a pretty fucking big reveal. But then it's still a bit more complex, because now it's not just Eddie deciding, fuck it, let's kill one of these people, you know? Fuck it. It wasn't just outwardly it sounds a bit fucking like, it wasn't just him being a racist prick. It was him doing what he thought best for his wife. Obviously, he's still a racist prick and murdered a man due to his race. But, like, it wasn't just... Like, but I still make the comparison. Like, I've said it a lot lately, and you do get these often, like, fucking key lines that I say. But I like how I compare if Nish was made in 2019... he would pretty much have the same character as Gray Atkins. If this was written in, like, 2019...
Who?
Well, it's just, But if this was written in 2019, Eddie would have just killed him because he was black.
Yeah.
But obviously, with the new direction, there's a lot more layers to it. There's a lot more... Like, it's a lot more built up. It's not just, like, why did you do it? Because I hate these people. It's like, well, like, even if Eddie is a massive racist and a terrible piece of shit, he didn't just do it because the man was black. He did it because he felt he was doing the right thing for his wife. Just fucking, like I said, it's just layers. It's just a really interestingly well-crafted fucking story. And I suppose... No, okay, there's not much further. Well, we'll talk about it just afterwards. And the reverberations kind of ring through Thursday's episode as George is struggling to deal with this. He lashes out at the boxing gym, and when Denzel starts to, I'd say, poke the bear, I definitely describe that as what was happening. Denzel was kind of like goading him, like, you're pathetic, like, how am I supposed to learn if you keep ducking out on me? And obviously George, pretty fucking livid, gets in the ring. It's probably similar to how Eddie would have trained George, like, you're fucking pathetic. Sort it out, you need to be strong, you need to be fucking strong. And scares the ever-living shit out of Denzel. Because I don't think Denzel was expecting the amount of aggression and the nastiness of this, like, training. And Elaine snaps him out of it, Like, George, he's a fucking kid, alright? But George worried that, he's like Eddie, worried that he's going to be like his dad. But, Elaine reminds him, like, Eddie, like, come on, you're nothing like Eddie. But Gloria shows up, and George kind of starts to realize that, as much as he's always viewed his mum as the one who always has loved him wholeheartedly and always been there for him and, like, like cleaned his, like, cuts and bruises when he was hurt, like, there for everything. Ultimately, she was complicit in George's, like, biological dad's, like, murder, and she just turned a blind eye to it in all these years. And because she the way I believe George sees it is she had a choice, right? She had a genuine choice as to whether to actually kind of accept it and acknowledge it, or whether to just act like it wasn't important, because it is important to George. And because of this, he essentially decides, look, when you walk out of this gym, you are dead to me as well. And it's like, fuck, man, that's fucking rough. Like, it's just... And, like, obviously, after Wednesday's episode in the Wolford Untapped we did, it was kind of talking about what happens next. Like, do we see the trial? Like, do we see any more from Gloria and Eddie? Like, is it done now? Do we see any more? Or is it just now the story's over? But as a whole, mate, what did you fucking think of this stuff?
Sorry. I loved it. I loved it. You know me. I like the very out there, the very rude characters. You know, Dean Wick's fan. I'm a fucking
You're a
Reese fan. I'm
Theo
a Theo fan. What?
Yeah, I said Theo as well.
Yeah. So I know it might come as a shock, but I love Eddie in a sense. He's just an old man. I'm not defending his racism, but he's just an old man who's not with the times, which I love, because there's a certain TikToker that I love. He's called the internet's grandpa, and he's basically a 90-year-old man who was born, I think, in 1930 something. And he's just like he's with the TikTok trends. He makes jokes saying, "Here's my wife," and it shows an urn, and like, "Here's my daily routine," cologne and everything. Puts on a suit, it's funny seeing that, and then looking at this old British hag, essentially, this old British, big crimson chin, fucking, hello, fucking Leslie Grantham before he on his deathbed, essentially, like. Like if this man British, I'd go, please. He's definitely British. But yeah, I love this. I love Eddie Knight. Like he wants to love his son, but his son is black.
He doesn't want to love his son.
I just got the memo that he wanted to love his son, but he can't because he's black.
There's no world where Eddie loved George. The only thing he felt for him was indebted, and that was to Gloria, in my opinion.
But I do like Eddie Knight. I do like Gloria Knight. I do like George Knight, obviously. I really wanted fucking George to smack the shit out of Eddie.
Yeah, I thought that was what we were building to. I thought it was just who's gonna smack Eddie Knight. But ultimately, I think that it was I guess in the end, it wasn't necessary, because we did get the big moment of him just showing his true colours, just get your hands off me.
What'd you do if George just started throwing cups at him? Just fucking, by hitting a big glass cup at him.
But I think it was a really important story to be told, and they fucking did it in such a fantastic way. Because look, this is the Wednesday episode is probably one of my favorite episodes ever. It's definitely episode of the year so far. It's managed to tackle the very fucking the muddied waters. It was, from what was announced, it was just going to be a social issue story about farming, about baby farming, and taking a baby from Africa or wherever else, Africa, like Ghana in this instance, and then seeing the story of that. But then it turned into this really interesting narrative where George kind of confronts, it's like, first struggles with his identity, as he feels like a lot of it was stripped away from him, as he was never truly allowed to know who his family was, who his parents were. And then it kind of blends into this deeply unsettling story of the just internalized racism and the kind of trauma of being brought up by, yes, a mum who did love him and wanted the best for him, but ultimately a dad he was never going to please. Dad he was never going to be proud of his son, through the sheer reductive factor that, George isn't white. And I think it was a really well told story of just, and depictions of racism, depictions of how people deal with racism. The Gina and Anna stuff, a bit of a sleeper fucking hit, because that was just really fucking impactful, because, it's not a conversation. It's not a conversation you have every other week, that's a lot of internalized upset and anger at one another. And even the Elaine and Gloria stuff, as Gloria initially brought in, you think she's some like sweet old like mum, you know, this sweeter older woman who, you know, Eddie was all bad, but in the end, she wasn't all good either. She was complicit in, you know, a thing that clearly fucking scarred George. You know, traumatic as fuck. She deprived, as much as Eddie deprived George of a loving, like, childhood and the part of his identity that he never really knew he had, Gloria deprived George of actually being able to get to know his fucking family. But yeah, no, fucking fantastic stuff. I don't know how long we've been going on this now, but fuck me, just like credits to the writers and the producers and all the actors involved. It's always interesting when EastEnders takes center stage, not by doing like crime or drugs or murder, but just by family drama. Like, the Knights were introduced last year, and they got a proper, like, own episode, and have probably been one of the best things that EastEnders has done in a while. It's just phenomenal stuff. I'm glad that I got to watch it and I got to learn from it and got to see a perspective that obviously I'm not always gonna fucking see. Like, a lot of people would never have thought about any of this stuff, because a lot of people would never have fucking dealt with it. And some people who may have been affected by this, well, maybe they've not been able to think of it in the same way, you know? Maybe some of it's spoken true to some people. And it's just fucking phenomenal stuff. I credits to all the writers and the producers and everybody who did it, but there we are. I don't think we do awards this time. Been a pretty fucking heavy, pretty heavy topic, leaning on it. But if we just have a summary of the end, what did you think of the week of EastEnders?
I loved it. I love very serious, very unserious Johnny Carter. Loved the Dean Wicks being like, well, you actually are a man now. You fucking hit hard, bitch. But you're still a bitch. You know that. You'll always know that, Johnny. You're still a bitch. It's like when a sub gets dominant to a dom, and the dom's like, "That's cute. That's cute." No, you're all though. It's nice seeing the Knight family, seeing the perspective of Eddie and Gloria Knight, because like, yeah, I just don't know how to describe it. Gloria seems like a woman you'd love to, you know. She makes you cookies. When you have a tummy ache, she makes you a hot chocolate. You know, lies you down in bed, gives you a warm blankie. You know, tells you everything will be all right. And then Eddie seems like the guy's like, you're on fucking TikTok. Will you grow up, mate? Start boxing. Start doing something manly with your life. You want to dress like a femboy? Fuck off. Not in this household. Man up. And I'm like, yeah. But in saying that, I am a fan of Eddie Knight, because I just love those characters. Because to quote Taylor Swift, they're the anti-hero. I don't even think he's an anti-hero. He's a villain.
He is a villain.
He didn't murder a man, so he can't really be an anti.
Racially aggravated murder.
Look, Ash, to defend him, she did say just rough him up. She didn't say kill him. She just said rough him up. So like, he got mixed signals. He got mixed signals. So it is nice to see all of this unravel into one and becoming a big storyline. And George getting his own episode. Well, kind of getting his own episode. And the girls getting their own episode with Elaine. And basically, it's fun to see that. And I can't wait for more. I don't know if this is the end of Eddie Knight. This might be the end of Eddie Knight. We might see the court trial. We might. But if they're building to another court trial next year, obviously the 6 versus Nish, I'd assume, or someone else, I would assume they're not going to do a court trial, because you don't want to stuff that too much.
I don't necessarily know where it's going to go, but I can't really see it getting. I don't know if it gets more screen time after this. So I like, and from this, I would definitely love to see it, because it was really fucking interesting, and almost a sleeper storyline that everybody saw. Like, oh yeah, okay, this will be all right, I guess. you know, and it kind of like, oh, this is interesting, you know, George, like 50-year-old man, lived a full life now, kind of identity crisis, interesting. But then it turns into this fucking magnificent fucking beast of a storyline where I'd love to see more of it, and I want to see where it goes. I would love to see it. Would love to see a reality where Eddie is convicted, and we see kind of George and his family like hold their heads high, and just kind of, just like, you fucking sicken me, Eddie, you know, like. And I think that, I don't know, it was really good. And the week as a whole, it was a really good week as well. I tried to change up how I was watching it. I did just generally watch it like one a day, which is generally how people do it. And it was super fucking fun to just, because the thing that's easy to forget when you get used to watching it, because obviously we pretty much watch it routinely like Wednesday night, watch 3 then watch like the one on the Thursday. But like, when you watch them all in one, you don't really get that time. You don't really get that immediate like snap back into reality, kind of like, whoa, what the fuck, you know, the Duff's final. And that's all you got to think about till the next day, till you see the next episode. It was a really fucking cool way to do it. And I'll probably try to do it more, because it's just really fucking good. And I suppose if anybody wants to give their stories, or how they've kind of like, how they've like felt about this episode and whether they've been good, obviously tell us in the comment section, because it would be cool to hear people a bit more affected than us. And all in all, we'd just love to see what people think about this week of EastEnders and that Wednesday episode alone. I think it's the crowning moment of the night of the Night family. You know, I don't think anybody beyond this episode will be just seeing them as like, oh, they're just the new family. You know, like they are fully established and have earned their fucking space on the show.
Just want to say that if you're wondering how my dad was correct, because I waited till now because I didn't want to do it during the fucking big racist scene, and it's just like, my dad was correct. He basically watches a lot of true crime shows, like I don't think he watches NCIS. He watches like Bones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And when Eddie and Gloria were first introduced, and like obviously he's seen Eddie being racist, he went, he has something to do with the murder of George's biological dad. And I went, no, he doesn't. He's just a racist. And my dad went, I'm telling you now, son, it is more than meets the eye.
Yeah.
Like, he's just a racist. He's not a murderer. Like, that's what I was based. That's why I bring up the joke. He's not he's a racist, but he's not a murderer. That's where the joke comes from. And then I went down Tuesday and Wednesday night, and I went, you motherfucker, you got it correct again. And he's just like, you know, maybe I should be watching Walford now, because, you know, I'm correct. And maybe I should go on this podcast and tell my point of view. And fuck off. He's like, got 2 correct. I'm even predicting next Christmas. And I'm like, you're not going to be able to predict Christmas of 2024. He's going to have the entire year mapped out on a fucking wall by the end of February.
But yeah, it's just fundamentally really fucking good week of EastEnders. And just in case people were a bit fatigued, you know, the 6 aftermath, maybe it's not lived up to your expectations. This is what like gets you back in, you know. This is, yeah, EastEnders is still fucking on, right? And that's just really cool. I'm like, if there's one thing I'm really happy that we do get to do, is at least at this point we are established enough that we do just get to fucking be here, and fucking I just get to fucking be like, oh, it was so good. Yeah, it was so good. I love this. It's just very nice to have this fucking platform. Also, I know what you mean. It's always interesting to have the characters who are kind of the characters who aren't afraid to say the dodgy shit, you know. You always have to have the instigators. You have to have the people who are going to be like, oh, this character's a racist and unapologetically doesn't care. And you're not fucking cheering because it's like, woo, racism. It's just like, oh, fuck me. What the fuck? They said that? Like that there are limits that most like fucking well-reasoned people won't fucking go. And to see the characters like Dean, who is a rapist, but also because no one respects him, he also gets to go around fucking hitting people one-liners like, fuck you, buddy. It's like, what did I do? And yeah,
because again, I don't bring it all down, but it is funny because like we know he's a rapist, but it's funny because it's like Dean literally goes to the shop, buys a packet of chewing gum. He buys a packet of chewing gum, and the cashier behind the counter is like, "Gonna chew on that now, you rapist?" And he's like, "I'm just buying chewing gum. Leave me alone, please." And they're like, "No, we're not letting you forget it."
yeah.
It's like every time Alfie Moon's mentioned, I'm just like, 2018, and Ash is just like, why?
But yeah, I was a fantastic week for EastEnders, and I don't need to say that 17 more times. So I just want to thank everybody for watching this episode of Watching Walford, episode number 59. It is week 7 of 2024. It is indeed. And just want to implore anybody who has enjoyed this episode to make sure to tell us what you think in the comment section down below, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, we thank you for watching, and make sure to join us in the next one. Bye-bye.